Okay, so I'm gonna go over the basics of a Dawn level game. This game revolves a lot around attack and defense, handling weak groups, not necessarily killing the opponent, but coming out of a fight with an advantage. I'm white in this game. White starts off with a 4-4, and black does a 3-4, and so white approaches. So this could be a fairly simple Joseki. However, black chooses to start a fight. This all feels fairly standard, although black begins to get very aggressive here. This peep is an attempt to make white thin. The reason white's connecting is because if black kills that stone, while it's not important in that stone in of itself point-wise, it would connect the black stones. So now black stones are actually still a little bit weak. You know, if white has a group and black has a weak group, it's fine, especially because black's group is a little bit weaker than white's. In this scenario, black doesn't really have many points, so it's not as if white has given up a lot of points. Now this is a very aggressive move for black, the peep. What black is hoping for is something like white, trying to connect, and then obviously black. It feels black has a nice advantage in this scenario. So what's going to happen is that white obviously is going to move out eventually, and it's going to turn into a game of two weak groups. Each side will have two weak groups. So they're trying to handle a fight with two weak groups. So obviously the first thing is that the upper group is just going to be weak. White is trying to settle it a little bit, threatens to kill the corner. So obviously black has to defend the corner. It's not optional. So now white has started to settle his group. Now black cuts. I think this is very aggressive. For black, I would think just moving away from the fight would be preferable. I don't believe this fight is advantageous for black. So I wouldn't recommend fighting in this way for black. But so anyway, we now move into a two-week group versus two-week group fight, and it's all about settling and moving out of the fight with an advantage. I don't think anyone's in danger of dying. So at this point, this move here, white is trying to settle his group quickly, and I feel white's top area is fairly effectively settled. So already I think the fight is starting to turn somewhat advantageous for white, because white has one nearly settled group and black has two unsettled groups. So black has developed some points now, but it's not a major amount of points. The problem is that one group for black is settled, one group for white is settled, and there's still one hanging group for each. So white's primary goal is to make it so he has two settled groups compared to black's one settled group and one unsettled group. So taking this one stone, it creates one eye. It also threatens to create another eye by killing two stones. I think in this move here, I do not think is good for black. The reason is white's going to cut, and the ko is nearly unfightable for black. The only real ko threats are the stones on the upper side, but as white, I would feel comfortable to sacrifice them. For example, if we did a fight like this, and black wanted to push through, I would view this as a highly acceptable sacrifice for white. That's ultimately it's hard to fight a ko that's big if there's no threats that are on the board, and it's too early for there to be really threats. So it's not surprising that black connects, but I think that was a bad exchange for black, because now, at this moment, white has two settled groups, and there are major cutting points for black. So while black may look connected, he needs another move, and I think this is pretty decent result for white. If I were black, I would much prefer to keep it as one unsettled group versus one unsettled group, and this is fairly large point value wise too. So I would definitely do this if I was black. Now white will have to move out, and black will have to move out, and we continue the fight. So I am pushing a little bit, and black has 3 cutting points in here, and that's why as black I would be fairly unhappy with this result, is that this wall is not at all thick, and that also brings into question, if the wall is not thick, if D is in fact a good move. That last enclosure, I would question if it's a good move, because if it doesn't pressure, we would probably be much better trying to stake some area out along this side. And for example, now if white does this, black could potentially simply ignore and sacrifice those stones. I mean, they could still move out, but white needs another move to kill them. So those stones in this case could be treated extremely lightly. The situation here is that D is a threat to attack white's stones, and so D becomes far less valuable if white can cut through, and there's no moyo to build. So I feel that the 0-18 was a little bit misplaced. So here it becomes, now black's starting to develop his moyo here. And white's going to make his own moyo on the side. And here it becomes a question of who's building faster. You got white on the right and black on the left. Now clearly black has the potential to build faster, so that basically means that white can't keep up in a building race. So white will have to reduce or invade, and so white decides to invade. Now I think this is an extremely critical mistake by black. The issue here is that this move is worth 0 points. It enables a continued attack, but in of itself it has no value. So if white can settle easily, this move is worth nothing. For black, I would probably like this sort of idea of destroying white's potential moyo. And the 2 stones on the upper side, in this area, they could even come under attack. So I would feel pretty good with this way for black, or maybe another idea would be attempting to make some sort of moyo, or solidify the moyo. Not sure the exact sequence, but something like this feels interesting. Because even if white can do an invasion in the corner, it also doubles a lot of pressure on the white central area toward the center bottom. So those would be the 2 ideas. But this for black, it doesn't have a lot of pressure, and it doesn't have any point value. So white is going to try to jump in. Now I think for black it's critical to separate these groups. I mean, maybe the peeps are one option or something like this, but the 2 groups need to be separated, otherwise the pressure subsides. And maybe black is afraid of a cut like this, but I think a fear like that. Oops. Fear like that is not extremely important, because in this case, sacrificing all those stones on the upper side, it may feel big, but in this game, I would say white is in significant danger playing out a cut. The left side is extremely strong, and there's a group which is in danger toward the center bottom middle. So actually the entire wall can be sacrificed. And clearly black doesn't feel the wall. The upper side can be sacrificed and feel some danger from the cut and defending there. And I think that's an extremely critical mistake. And this is very slow for black. I don't know if there's a good continued attack, but once white is settles, and white settles here, I think these next few moves are problematic for black. But ultimately, white is settled, and the L2 move is worth basically 0 points at this point. I mean, it's not 0, but it's effectively, you know, that's effectively nearly a stone and a half mistake, because moves should be about 15 points right now. So that's a pretty huge lost move. Now I think black makes an even larger error. Well, not larger, but again large. And he's going to cut a single white stone. And this is, you know, at this point, maybe this is a 10-point idea. I think maybe black has made about 10 points. But when you consider this group sitting in the center for black, the weakness of it, and how white can build, timing-wise, this is fairly disastrous. You know, black has made 10 points. Now white has nearly sealed off the entire right side. And I think, you know, the combination of these two mistakes near each other, white has nearly won the game. Now this is, you know, looking back at the fight, you know, I don't know if this is questionable for white. Maybe white has declared victory a little early. But clearly if white's group comes out without dying, white has won the game. So the fight becomes a little bit complicated in here. You know, I'm not going to go through the complex. I just want to talk about the main ideas today. And this is the losing move for the game. The game at this point is 100% over because with this move and this move, white will win the capturing race. So not only does he have the large points on the right, he's also killed the dragon in the middle. And, you know, just to kind of quickly go through how it sort of fell out. And, you know, black loses the dragon. If black does a move like this, I believe that I believe white should be able to live actually, but I mean the fight is much less clear. But ultimately, black will probably kill. Well, yeah, black will definitely kill these two stones. These two stones marked. But white should live now, and it should be a forced life. Starting with here. And, you know, I believe those moves are all forced there. And then it's important, this move, to make sure that black can't mess with the second eye. And then we create the second eye. And then black can kill. And I feel like white has definitely an advantage in this game, but it's not over for black. But anyway, the main points of, you know, the game is just to kind of go over the ideas and the attack and defense, and always making sure that moves have a point value or a key point. And so that's it for this one.